Good afternoon, everyone. We are Team Uniform, which is a very small three-person group, very condensed and compact, but also efficient. I think, yeah. Well, let's see. I am Ken, the director and editor for this project, and Loris, our very professional DOP and producer, who is much more important than me. And finally, Venom, our very professional consultant, full of industrial experience, and also he will take parts of the sound design. I'm very honored to work with them within the same group. And yeah, our project name's called Dynamic City. Alright, so let me straightforward to you. What we are going to create is a cultural and pandemic topic mixture short video, which is a bit like a documentary. However, includes some different types of shots and transitions as a combinations of video montage to show, of course, movements, and that is why we are using it the name of Dynamic City, which is City. Yeah, as the project name. Which you can see the inspiration is come from a very famous and fascinating cultural montage on YouTube created by Brandon Lee. Well, perhaps lots of you guys have watched it before, but anyway, let's have a very quick watch of the climax city shots from this video. Then you will have a basic idea of what exactly we are going to create. Here is the basic synopsis or the basic storyline for productions. As this is a more like a improvisational project depends on what we found in the shooting scenes. Although we definitely have number of locations under considerations, which Lois will talk about this later. And also Waynham have also done some research on what locations in what time from what angles would be better. But yeah, for this type of shooting topics, we need to have a try our fortunes. Oh, back to the topic synopsis. Well, here's the synopsis. Dynamic City is the combinations of city shots with linear narrations and transitions effects, which is to capture the difficulties and self-strengthening of people who living in Sydney under pandemic time. Following the narrative structure of economic contractions to recovery, panic to gain hope, stay safe and looking at the future. Okay, so capture the history moment of this unexpected and unprecedented hard times. From city scenes to people daily life, combine all this pressure first-hand image to record and edit them become a visual documentary which is able to reflect the theme that, well, city-siders are strong even under high pressure and dramatic change of inside and outside world, which is the Australian spirits. Well, really positive, right? Okay, so as I've mentioned before, I'm also taking responsibility for doing the editing parts. So one thing that I want to highlight is that for my personal purpose, This is a cooperative project intends to merge both final projects from the editing course that I have. I'm now studying in this semester and this course together. Since one of them are focused on editing and this course 50444 oh well 55044 is an camera movement assignment which is required to involve camera operations capturing different type of shots, so they are good to combine for saving times. But anyway, back to the topics. Here's the little presentations of these editing parts. So for this type of projects, it's definitely full of editing techniques that required. Of course, for example, like many special cutting, different types of transitioning, and of course color grading is necessary. And then the guys who created this video is actually posted number of tutorials, so I may have a look of it for further analyze. Alright, so another features that could come is the movement and the visual attraction that created by first-person perspective, of course. So it is basically trigger psychological stimulations that the nature of human. It can provide audience go through the whole narration, story journey of visiting a city, or go through the whole story, yes, in certain timeline. So I think it is really fantastic. So and then next feature is that the uncontrollable storyline, which I don't know what exactly I will capture. So a little bit challenge, but meanwhile is a little bit playful. And then one thing that very important is I think the stock preset effect in Premiere Pro will not do a great job in such a level of editing. So third-party transition pack should be required. Okay, so now let's welcome Loris to talk about some cinematography elements.
Hi, I'm Loris. I'm producer and DOP in our group. Here is our production schedule. We can see a lot of work will be done between week 7 and week 9. Brainstorming, techniques research, and also location scout. And we'll do some test shots before the real shooting. We're shooting at week 10, and all the post-production work like editing, color grading, and sound mixing starts from week 11. Most of our location based on the CBD, like street, cinemas, and restaurants. And we also consider the Art Gallery of New South Wales, Royal Botanic Garden, Panorama Park Playground, Opera House, Milsons Point, and also Observatory Park, Millers Point. As for the camera, we will use Sony a7R III because it's small and easy to control on the gimbal. And the rolling essay will make camera movement more smooth. We will also borrow some sound recording equipment and lighting equipment from the AV store. During the shooting, we'll keep the social distance and wear face masks all the time. And also, before every group meeting or shooting, we'll do the COVID wellness check to make sure everyone is safe. The pictures on the right side show the tone of the film. Because there's no specific plot in the film, so the mood of the picture is completely relied on the movement of the camera. And I will design different camera movements in different scenes. For example, when showing busy people on the street, I will use a time lapse. And for the highlight of individual emotions, I will use a slow motion. Although we are planning to use our own camera rather than the GH5 from uni, but we'll still follow the format and the setting as the requirement shown on the above listing, such as shooting 4K 25 frames per second or slow motion FHD, 100 frames per second MOV if necessary. Log format for post-production color grading, 180-degree shutter angle, 16:9 aspect ratio, etc. Here is our storyboard. They have 3 scenes follow the story structure, which is low-spirited, challenge, and hope. We'll use a lot of transitions effects in post-production, so I will try to use different camera movements and angles to shooting, as much as possible to ensure smoother transitions between frames. Most of our shooting will rely on the natural light, which means we need to take advantages of blue hour and golden hour to make the pictures look more soft. The golden hour occurs just after sunrise and before sunset, when the sun is low on the horizon, creating the signature warm glow. The blue hour arrives shortly before sunrise and after sunset, when the sun's position just below the horizon produces those cooler tones. We can see that time, location, and weather is very important to our shooting. And we may use LED light to highlight some subjects in our night scene.
For the music design, I intend to use different music styles for the 3 different acts. The music starts with funky and happy tune, such as this one. The music plays through until the virus shot hits the city, where the music switches to a dramatic and heavy tune. For example, this music will play through the shots of protests and conflicts in Act 2. In between, there will be sound effects such as thunders and lightnings to set off the raining scenes. And techniques such as void of sound and music are also used, where there's no music playing except for the ambient sound. This will last until the opening of Act 3, where the music starts again in an inspiring and playful tune, such as this one. For the sound recording, I intend to attach the Rode wireless mic to the cameras, where it is easy to place on set. The built-in microphone on the transmitter would be excellent to record ambient sounds for every shot. Due to the maneuverability of the microphone, it can be placed near various different subjects to record more close-up details of the soundscapes. Lastly, challenges. Will there be challenges? Of course there will be. Just like every film produced out there, challenges are almost inevitable. It's the challenges and difficulties that makes the film process more interesting, giving it more fun, and hence a bonding process between the filmmakers and the story that they're telling. There's a quote by Billy Wilder: "A director must be a policeman, a midwife, a psychoanalyst, a sycophant, and a bastard." But if you think closely, sometimes this might not only be applied to the director, but it also applies to the antagonist that the writer writes, the images that the cinematographer films, or even the process that the filmmakers makes. Facing the challenges, the worst we could do is give up. But not for us. We stay calm and carry on. Thank you for listening, and see you on the flip side.